Do you want to learn how to control people's decisions? I know I do. I'm going to talk to you about the psychology of choice. Why do people lean towards certain options? What factors actually influence a person's decisions? Every day, people like you and me make hundreds, if not thousands of choices and decisions. From what time to get out of bed, what you're going to eat for breakfast. If you learn to understand the steps that are involved in making a decision, you can learn how to manipulate this to your advantage so that you can sell more products or services in your business. Simply put, there are 5 steps involved in the decision-making process. Step 1, recognizing a want or need. Step 2, forming a consideration set. Step 3, evaluating the available options. Step 4, selecting the best option. And step 5, evaluating their chosen option. Most decisions happen subconsciously and happen very quickly, which means we have an incredibly small window of time to affect someone's decision and choices. Now, as you can imagine, there are a number of tactics that you can use at any point in the decision-making process. I'll go through some of my favorites with you today. So, the first step is recognizing a want or need. Basically, this means that the person has realized that they want or need something, and a decision has to be made. Say that you're considering purchasing a new car. You can either get a simple car or a really fancy one. Surprisingly, most people would go with the simple car. This is because there is a certain amount of guilt associated with purchasing something just because it's nice and makes us feel good, especially when there is a similar product that isn't luxury. So, how could you reduce the guilt associated with purchasing something nice? Think about this in terms of your product. Would it be considered a luxury? What's something that you could implement to help people purchase your more expensive product over a cheaper one? A really effective tactic is to link the purchasing of the product with a good thing. This could involve donating a percentage of your profits to a charity or a cause that you're passionate about. Not only is this a really nice thing to do, but it will reduce the guilt involved with purchasing a more expensive product. The second step is where they form a consideration set. So this involves discovering what options they have for the decision. The best way to control this part of the process is through the placement of your product. People's brains remember the first and last things. The middle always seems to get a little bit lost. The first item has a greater impact on the long-term memory, and the last item has a greater impact on the working memory. This means that if their decision is going to be in the future, put your product first. But if you want them to buy it immediately, put your product last. Pretty awesome how just a simple order can affect someone's decision, hey? The third step of the process is where they compare the options they have available. This is surprisingly one of the most complex parts of the decision-making process. An interesting tactic is to raise the value of the undesirable attributes above 0. Let's take chocolate as an example. Brand A has 5 grams of sugar and brand B has 1 gram of sugar. This is super easy for someone to understand, as you can easily see that brand A has 5 times more sugar than brand B. But let's replace brand B with brand C, which has 0 grams of sugar. The difference is now infinite, which means your brain finds it harder to understand. Now for one of my favorite mind tricks. Here is a Coke soda machine. So this sold 200 cans of Coke per day. Pretty decent amount, right? Well, a few weeks later, Pepsi put their machine right next to the Coke machine. Now, how many cans do you think Coke sold? You'd guess around 100, right? Because now there's competition. Well, you'd be wrong. The sales increased to 400 cans of Coke, and Pepsi sold 200 cans of Pepsi per day. How? Well, by having the Pepsi machine right next to the Coke machine, the question in the consumer's mind changes from, do I want a soda or not, to which soda do I want? So, sometimes it can actually be beneficial to have a competitor's product right next to ours. Department stores and online shopping services have harnessed this sort of thinking and stock lots of competitors' products to generate sales and revenue.